Last night, Ted played Monopoly, and he won. He had 26 houses, 11 hotels, and a pile of money. Last night, Marie won at Monopoly too, but with 0 houses and 0 hotels. Because Marie played new Monopoly scratch-offs from the Maryland Lottery, with top prizes from $1,000 to $2 million. Like Ted, Marie also won a pile of money. But unlike Ted, Marie's money is real. Play new Monopoly scratch-offs from the Maryland Lottery. Go directly to fun. Please play responsibly. Monopoly is a trademark of Hasbro.
Welcome to the Sisters in Loss podcast, a faith-based podcast that spotlights Black women that replace silence with storytelling around pregnancy and infant loss and infertility. Black women experience miscarriage and stillbirth 4 to 5 times more likely than white women in the United States, according to the CDC and NIH. Whether you've experienced a miscarriage, infant loss, or stillbirth, are trying to conceive, or have an infertility diagnosis, you will learn about resources and strategies to heal, gain clarity, peace, and hope, and find an empowering path forward after loss. I'm your host, Erica M. Freeman, and you'll hear me interview other sisters in loss from around the world who have healed from such a painful and traumatic experience, by sharing their testimonies and stories to inspire and help others turn their pain into their purpose. Storytelling is powerful. Storytelling is activism. Storytelling is healing. Now let's get started. Welcome to the Sisters in Loss podcast. This is your girl, Erica Michelle, back with a solo episode. So I am easing into the year, and my new year doesn't start really into February because life has been lifing, but God is still good. I hope and pray that your 2023 was everything that you thought it was, and that if it wasn't, that 2024 brings all of your dreams, all of your hopes, all your desires do come true. I want to do a quick update of what's been happening behind the scenes of Sisters in Loss, what we are looking forward to in 2024 programmatically, the support groups that we're doing, and anything that we're doing policy-wise around Black maternal health and infant health, and how can you stay plugged in to what's happening in the community. First and foremost, have you left a recent review of the podcast on iTunes or Spotify? If not, stop what you're doing. If you're watching on YouTube, stop, press pause, go and leave us fresh reviews. I was looking back through all of the surveys that we did for the year, and we need new reviews for the podcast, especially if you've been listening for so long. There are a lot of great episodes from the beginning of the podcast back in 2017 that I rewound at the end of the year just because I wanted new listeners to hear different stories, especially about couples as they navigated through marriage after loss. So it's something that you definitely want to go back and tune into the last 3 episodes of the year and the first episode of 2024. So I'm going to pause again. I'm going to wait. Go drop a review of the podcast. Tell us about what you love, what you're looking for, what you have gained the most from this community over the last almost 7 years. I'm waiting. All right, we're back. Yes, girl, I wanted you to go write a review. We need your reviews. We need your reviews. We need your commentary. We need to know and really understand how can we best serve you in the season you're in. Obviously, many of you have come and been a part of this community for the last 7 years. Many of you have gone to see success. You know, you've gone through your losses, you've gone through your own personal healing journey, and you've come out on the other side where whether you are navigating life as a parent that's here on earth, you know, a parent that's here on earth with a child in heaven, or you actually do have a child here as well as the children that you're parenting in heaven. So I want to know where you are in your parenting journey and really how can we best serve you as you continue to navigate through the ups and downs of life and what healing looks like on the other side. So to give you, typically I'm gonna be honest with you all, typically I normally come and actually have notes typed. I have points written, I have, my 3 points and my clothes and I'm done, how we do, how we do in the Black church, and a sermon written, basically ready to go. But I have been really focusing and reflecting on the word ease that I've had over the last it's been about 6 months where my life has taken another transition. So spoiler alert, we're going into a life update for me personally. So if you follow me on social at Erica Michelle Free, my name is Erica Michelle Free. When I changed my name, it was my last solo episode that I dropped over this summer during our 6-year anniversary of Sisters in Loss, where I share about me changing my name back from, my married name to my maiden name, which is Freeman. And the process of changing your name back takes time. It takes lots of effort. I think it was easier to change your name when you got married than it is changing it back when you get divorced. So I am in the last few updates of updating my name. And then on top of that, it's the updating of the name across social media, across all of the articles that were written about me and Sisters in Loss. I didn't ask a lot of these editors or journalists to go back and update the name because it's not necessary. I know who, we know who it is, especially if it has a picture of me. But going forward, using my name and sharing my name proudly. So that's something that I've been not necessarily working on, but definitely making sure that I'm cognizant of as I continue to move forward and continue to do this work of really supporting Black mothers, Black working people as they navigate and heal through loss and infertility. Biggest transition that happened last summer was my son making the transition to live with his dad. So Maxwell, also affectionately we call him Super Mighty Max, has gone to live with his dad. And it has been an amazing journey, not only for him, but for me to really find myself in this season. I always knew, even if we had a typical child, that, boys need to be with their fathers at some point, especially as they grow up. And, the co-parenting journey hasn't been easy, but one thing I can say is that we both are on the same page and both understand the importance of making sure that our son is well taken care of. And the fortunate part of him moving with his dad is that he gets a little bit more extra care and nursing care hours compared to what he received when he was living with me. So different states have different rules around Medicaid and their nursing hours. And he actually gets more coverage in the state that he is in. So, for my folks who are navigating the healthcare system in Virginia or Maryland, for the folks who have people who are disabled and have, complex medical needs, Maryland does provide more options for those individuals. So that has been a bonus for my son. He's actually getting more care, which takes off the weight of having to do a bunch of lifting and a bunch of moving of him when he is with his dad. Fortunately, I don't live in Maryland yet. Something that is on my goal for this year is to move to the state of Maryland from Northern Virginia. I'm in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, the DMV, for those who are listening. And if you all know anything about this area in the country, it's very expensive. So not only to live, but also to purchase. And then the housing market that's going on right now, this is why we vote. But I digress. So yes, so that is a goal for mine this year, is to make that move to Maryland, especially as my son has transitioned. And I have been in this transition of finding me again. Finding me after divorce was one thing, because I could also put my time and attention into my son. Now grieving that life of mothering every day, bringing it back to grief, because this is a podcast where we talk about grief and loss and losing the ability to do the parenting day to day. I wouldn't say I lost the ability. Obviously, it was mutual to give to mutual given to his dad to parent him on the day to day and give him the opportunity to do so. You know, as Maxwell has grown, now I have the opportunity to really pour back into me that I've never really done before prior to getting married and having a baby, you know, trying to have babies, losing babies, and then having this miracle baby, and then going through the ups and downs of life with navigating the medical system with a child with complex medical needs. So now I'm on this in this season of ease and transition. So my word of the year, if you've been here for a while, I always come in to a new year with the word of the year. Word of the year this year has been ease. Last year it was very much so kind of rejuvenation and rest. And this year it's been ease. Like, how can I make sure that I'm doing things that not only bring me joy and happiness, but that I feel the feels of grief and sorrow when they come, but that I can ease back into what this new normal of a life that I'm creating and designing for myself is going to be. So that is what's going on the personal front for me. Maxwell's, I still see him every other weekend. We just essentially switch roles. So I still have him. I still get to spend lots of time with him on the weekends. And it's just the day to day I don't have. And I get to, you know, pour back into me. So for those of us who are on our own healing journey, some things that I've done for myself personally to make sure that I'm not only grounded in feeling all the feelings, but that I am recognizing the parts of me that need to be, that are getting pruned, that are getting right, that are getting ready for this next season, that I am fervently praying. I have even started a prayer note on my phone. So anytime that I pick up my phone, that I am able to read the prayers that I know that I'm asking and seeking God for this year. I have started to journal more. I always journaled, but I normally am very consistent when I do it, but when I don't, I don't. Like I'm off of it. I'm always writing something. So the Notes app and Evernote on my phone are my go-tos because Evernote transfers same as Notes, especially if you put it to the iCloud. For my iPhone users, it'll go from phone to computer to iPad. So I love that capability that I can pick back up on a note that I've been writing. So I've been journaling more. I've been reading a lot. I stay in a couple books at a time, just to, you know, a self-help book, a fun book for me to just listen to, and a memoir. I've been listening to a lot of memoirs lately as well. And those always give me the vigor to understand not only people's journeys are not linear at all, just like grief, but we're just so complex in how we land and get to the places that we are and how God really navigates our paths. So I've been doing that. I've been, besides, you know, writing more, journaling, reading, I've been using my hands more, baking a lot more. I mean, I always was a plant mother, so I have lots of plants that I've been tending to more and figuring out what's the best spots for them in the house, what kind of soil they need, just doing all the, you know, nerdy stuff about planting, putting roots down, watching something grow and develop from nothing, especially if it was about to die. So I love that, how God works through plants, and it's visceral, but it's very immediate. Like, granted, it does take a little time, especially for certain plants and species to start to develop and grow. But I think that's just how God prunes us. So think of how you have gotten to the place that you're at right now in your journey, whether it's trying to conceive, whether you are, you know, you have your baby physically with you, to if you're trying to have another baby after you've gone through traumatic losses, or you're still on that train battling through your infertility challenges. God is picking and pruning and putting you in new soil so that you can see the fruits, that you can bear the fruits literally when that time comes. So I'm excited about what God is going to do in your life in 2024, but it's something that planting and caring for my plants are my other way of caring for things. Something else that I've been doing as a part of my healing journey, especially in this transition, is really working out more. I'm like, I have no reason and no excuse for me not to be in the gym consistently 3 to 4 times a week. There's no reason. So I've been, even when I don't want to, even when it's cold, because it's been cold up here. This last week, especially if you've been in the DC area, it's been cold. So to actually get up and go out in the cold to work out, girl, it is a sis. It is a lot. So I want to do that more. And then the last thing really that I know that I've been planning and plotting out, mainly since last year, I had a couple trips already planned, but really taking vacations that to places that I know that I want to go to, that are full of culture, good food, some history, and making time to do a solocation. I recently went to New York to see Perfectly Victorious with Leslie Odom Jr. And that play is about to end on Broadway at the beginning of February, but I wanted to see it before it went off of Broadway, and made a whole weekend out of it. Saw that the tickets to the train on the Amtrak were so expensive. So I looked at the flights. The flights were actually cheaper, which is crazy, right? From the DC area. So I flew to New York, had a great weekend, and then came back to snow here in the DC area. So I enjoyed myself, enjoyed doing all the fun things that I love to do in New York by myself. I didn't even, reach out to anybody to say, oh, I want to meet up. It was really for me to pour into me. So those are some things that I've been doing in my ease and transition as I'm easing into this new year. And then now let's talk about what's happening with Sisters-in-Law. So behind the scenes, I've been working on a lot of different things, from some policy work to how we're going to continue to grow our grief support group that we do weekly, going to in-person grief support groups, one that's going to be in Virginia, one that's going to be actually physically in DC, and one that's going to be in Maryland. So look out for that. We're going to have those coming up. We also are going to do something for Black Maternal Health Week. So look out for a quick meetup and a brunch for us to get together as a community, especially if you're in the DC, Maryland area, if you want to travel here. So those dates will be dropping soon on when that is. And then lastly, the biggest thing that I've been working on for years, but I finally got clarity on exactly what I want to do and how I want to birth this into the world. You go back and listen to some of my old updates for the year. I've always wanted to write a book. I've always wanted to be a published author. And I've always had this goal and dream of mine to be traditionally published. And I have gone back and forth on how and what my contribution to the world would be around publishing a book. And I have finally gotten the clarity and the divine download on how to make sure that not only I share a bit of my stories and a bit of your stories, obviously, especially if you've shared your story on the Sisters-in-Law podcast, because there's 7 years of content that's here, but also that I am producing a novel, producing a book of essays that can be picked up for generation to generation to generation. So I'm saying it here because I want to make sure that it is inked and marked that this book is going to be that go-to book for Black women who've experienced miscarriage, pregnancy loss, and infertility. I want this to be that guide. So whenever you pick up a book, whenever someone asks you what book you should go get them, you go grab this book and say, this was designed and created directly for you. So I am in the throes of writing this book. And I'm going to take you out on the journey with me, because it is with this writing tool and task that it's brought up reflections for me. And I think this is the reason why God has had me on this path, personally, but also professionally, and why it has been or gotten taken, this long for me to finally figure out exactly how I wanted to not only share my story, but really share the story of this work that I've done in this ministry that I've built with Sisters in Loss. And I want to not only convey how much you individually mean to me by the work that you do, by the vulnerability that you have shown me, by how, even though I may not know your name by person, that you see me, sis, that you love on me on social media, that you like and comment on those posts, that when we see in person, you hug me like you've known me for years. I want to make, this is my love letter for you all, but also it is a way for us to know that we aren't healing alone, that we have to heal in community, and that this is that space to not only get the healing that you need as you navigate through your journey and to become a parent, to become a mother, but also this is still a place for you to come to as you continue on your motherhood journey, no matter where you are on that journey. Whether your child is 1 or 2 or your child is 16 or 25, we all still share commonality of being sisters in loss. So I am excited about taking you all on this journey with me of what it looks like to not only reflect of, these 400 plus stories that have been told on the podcast, but also what it looks like to go out and really put myself out there and be disciplined in writing consistently this year to make sure that I'm not only providing you all a place to go to listen to the podcast, but an actual guide and a book to that you can put on your bookshelf and pull it out and give it to your family and friends as they navigate through the journey as well. So I thank you for sharing the podcast. I thank you for listening to the podcast all over these years, but I'm excited to take it to the next level and bring you all something more tangible that you all can have in your own repertoire that you can look to for healing modalities as you continue on your journeys, but also for it to be a guidebook for years and years and years to come. So more to come about that, because I'm excited about the vision God has given me. I'm clear about direction I'm headed in. And then, to be honest with you all, I finally have the time to do it. And I think this is why I've eased into the new year, and God has made this transition smooth for me, for Max to go live with his dad. Because now I actually have I took some time to just figure out, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to just hop back into work and work myself to the bone? And that's not really what I want to do. I want to do things that bring joy. And a part of this work is bringing me joy. And as much as you see the flashy things on social media, you also have seen a lot of creatives over this last year slow down. So this is my way of saying, hey, let's take a step back. Let's reevaluate the purpose and the mission of Sisters in Loss and what we're doing here. But how can I better serve you all? How can I be a better steward of the gift that I have of connection and bringing people together? There's so many connections that have been made from being in a community, from being meeting in person, from just being online with people and seeing people connect and meet up across the world. It has been one of my greatest joys and greatest blessings. So I thank you all for allowing me to not only hold the space for you as you navigated your journey, but also to create this community that it's a safe space for you to come back week after week, year after year, and know that you're not alone on this journey and you're not healing alone on this journey. So I know I've said a bit much about my personal stuff. I've shared a little bit about the book and some of the background of things that are happening within Sisters in Loss. But I want to hear from you all. I sent out a survey to our group at the end of the year and to my email list at the end of the year and at the beginning of this year. And I want to hear from you all who may not have taken that survey to drop a DM to us at Sisters in Loss on any social media platform, or just reach directly out to me at Erica Michelle Free on all on social media as well, to let me know what you're looking for. What do you need in the season? And what would you like programmatically from Sisters in Loss so that we can continue to carry out the mission for Black women to continue to replace silence with storytelling around pregnancy and infant loss and infertility. So if you've made it this far, hey sis, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We are going to continue to go into this year with ease. I pray that everyone who is under the sound of my voice, that all of your dreams, all of your goals, all of your desires, all of your visions of what it is to become a mother, what it feels like to mother, and what parenthood actually is achieved this year for you. I believe it in my heart of hearts. No matter how that journey happens and how you get there, all that matters is that you're getting there. So I hope that you are taking that one step forward to make sure that these things are realized for you, because God has to meet you where you are, but you have to take a step. So that's what faith is about. And I have faith in you, knowing that God is going to bless you where you are, but you got to take that step, sis. So I hope that you take that step. I hope that you continue to ease into this new year as I am, and that you're taking moments of rest and pause as you go through your journey. I love you all for listening. Thank you all for all of your love and support over the years. And I promise you, it won't be another 6 months before I do an update. We will update continuously as we go throughout the year about this book writing process and where I am. All right, guys. Love you. Talk to you soon. Thank you for listening to today's episode. For show notes, go to sistersinloss.com to stay connected with us and join the Sisters in Loss community and receive my weekly newsletter. Please go to sistersinloss.com/newsletter. That is sistersinloss.com/newsletter. Please rate and review this episode, and I will talk to you next week.
Last night, Ted played Monopoly, and he won. He had 26 houses, 11 hotels, and a pile of money. Last night, Marie won at Monopoly too, but with 0 houses and 0 hotels. Because Marie played new Monopoly scratch-offs from the Maryland Lottery, with top prizes from $1,000 to $2 million. Like Ted, Marie also won a pile of money. But unlike Ted, Marie's money is real. Play new Monopoly scratch-offs from the Maryland Lottery. Go directly to fun. Please play responsibly. Monopoly is a trademark of Hasbro.
Marketing is hard. But I'll tell you a little secret. It doesn't have to be. Let me point something out. You're listening to a podcast right now, and it's great. You love the host. You seek it out and download it. You listen to it while driving, working out, cooking, even going to the bathroom. Podcasts are a pretty close companion. And this is a podcast ad. Did I get your attention? You can reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Libsyn Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a pre-produced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience and their favorite podcasts with Libsyn Ads. Go to libsynads.com, that's LIBSYN, ads.com today,